This is Season 2, Episode 11 of the Out of the Minds podcast. I'm Sean Oakley.
And I'm Sam Cooper, and I'm playing Sean Oakley, except not online, in person this time.
We've got a club night match, which should be quite fun. Let's jump straight into it. I am bringing the same list I brought last week. Yeah, I was onto this list last week. Practicing for an event I have already attended by the time we recorded this at Incon Gaming up in Cheltenham. And we'll talk about how that went and takes from that later, because this game provides a good example of some of the issues I'm having. But I have got Endor Wedge, Fen Rao in the Fang Fighter with Swarm Tactics, Marksmanship, and Beskar Reinforced Plating. Yavin Luke, Yavin Hull in the Y-Wing, and Sabine with Beskar.
Meanwhile, I've rocked up with the exact same list I've been running for eons and eons. We got Dirge with Marksmanship, Proton Cannons, the Xanadu Blood Title, and Proton Bombs. Volan Das in the Tri-Fighter with Elusive and Afterburners. Pre Vizsla in the Gauntlet with Bo-Katan Crew, Veteran Tailgunner, Mando Optics, and the Swivel Wing, and DGS 047 in the HMP Gunship with Diamond Boron Missiles and Jango Fett, and DGS 286 with Cluster Missiles and Seismic Charges also in the HMP Gunship. And we're playing Assault at the Satellite Array.
Yes. So immediately I'm on the back foot. Not much, but we've got the same amount of ships, but you've got a large base.
Yeah, which is very nice.
And
so objectives.
I was gonna say, one large base. It might sound inconsequential, but when I'm not outnumbering you on ships, I have to get 3 of my ships just to beat that one ship. It can make a hell of a difference.
It could be very, very annoying and quite tricky to actually take points when that big ship is nearby.
Yes.
And so, speaking of objective points and big ships, I believe I had priority for turn 0.
Yes, you did.
So I place my home objective basically on. I believe I did the one on my left-hand side, as nearly as close to the center as possible, about midway up my half.
Yes.
Like essentially, I put it. If you imagine the X-wing board as 4 corners with the middle objective as the center, I placed it in the dead center of my left-hand corner quadrant. Yes. Maybe.
I did what I always do, which is place one in the middle as close as I can to my board edge, and I need to stop doing this on Assault. Because I think
it's not like you can pick it up.
And I can't pick it up, you just go past it. And what I find tends to happen, and I really need to stop, this is why I need to stop it, is I move past it, and then my opponent's ships might not end up there, but might end up there and nick a point or 2. I never end up back there, or very rarely end up back there. Particularly with...
Yeah, or I feel like if you're going to do that, you need to set up Sabine so that she's going to rotate around it and just do her objective thing. Because her rotating around an assault objective is the exact same as if she'd picked up a crate and is leaving.
Yes. What I should have done was the trick that you taught me for large bases and getting 3 of them in and forcing a block somewhere. Because my list just wants to fly in a block and murder things.
Yeah. And my list wants to do a bit of murdering, but also a bit of objectiving. And if there is a block of 3, I can't not put Vizsla there, because he'll just, if he gets there and lives there for a turn or 2, that's easy 2 to 3 points a turn.
Yeah. So what I should have done was I should have placed it in the centre, as I have done, but at range 2 of the centre objective, not as close to the board edge.
Yeah.
Because
that way it's relevant for when the engage happens, and you might just nick it, and it's also tempting for me to go for.
Yeah, and because I'm second player, wherever you put an objective on my side, it's going to create a clump somewhere.
Yes.
So, yeah.
But on the flip side, I do kind of create a clump as best I can. It's not ideal, but I essentially... Again, going back to my quadrant example, I place it in roughly the center of your right-hand quadrant, basically my top left as I'm looking at it. And so there's a triangle between my home objective, the objective I placed on your side, and the center. It's just not as tight as I probably should have made it when I'm really thinking about it.
Yeah. And then I place the last objective in your bottom right corner, as far away range 3 as I can. And basically, my idea here is because the majority of the objectives are, as I'm looking at it, on the right hand side, I'm assuming Vizsla's going to end up down there. And I'm assuming you're not going to hang him out to dry. So a reasonable amount of your list's going to be near. Like, I assume Dirge probably would. So my thoughts were, I stick Sabine opposite the one in your bottom right corner. And then I put Luke there as well. And then, if you've put something in there, maybe if you put everything in there, you joust. In which case, I'll just turn away. But like, what my ideal is: Luke goes down, you go. I can't risk that. Turn away, and then Sabine just merrily trundles behind and goes round that objective.
Good plan.
But we we obstacle
Rock
first.
So I slap. I think this is a silly move plan on my part because I'm the one with the large base ship. So I slap one of my Pride of Mandalore rocks, slap bang in the middle of the triangle that's formed on your side of the board between your home objective, my placed objective, and the center, thereby ensuring that anyone that goes into that center area trying to claim multiple objectives is probably on an asteroid. And I should probably have not done that because I'm the one with the big ship.
Yes, I agree.
It's the only one that's feasibly able to actually do it.
Because then what I do is slap a rock in the middle of the other triangle that's formed with the same two objectives from the centre and then the two objectives on the far right-hand side. So there's effectively an obstacle in both those triangles.
And then essentially the rest of the rocks, I sort of dot them on my right-hand side-ish, trying to form channels for you to hopefully go into, because I've got a bullseye cannon. I want to try and make it so that here's a channel that you can go in, and if you're coming in with multiple ships, chances are one of them is in a bullseye.
Yeah, and
when it comes to your ships, anyone will do.
Yeah, and I cluster my other debris and my rock as close to the debris that I've already placed, basically making it hard for Dirge to get through. Vizsla to get through those, hoping that if you go there, you'll have to go down that edge. And the gunships aren't they're maneuverable, but they're also not. Like, all it takes is one mistake and having the repulsors in the wrong thing.
Wrong way, slightly misjudge how far the side flip will go.
But yeah.
But yeah, that's where we end up with. So like my both of my home objectives have a rock next to them. I've got one of my rocks slightly on the right hand side of the center objective, and then you've made a triangle in my corner, basically saying, Vizsla, if you come in here, you're gonna have an annoying time.
Yeah.
So then deployment. So again, I'm first player, so my 1s and 3s go down first. And I can't exactly remember which gunship is which at the time, but I place Vizsla in my bottom left at I3. Basically, on the outside, he's going to try and scoot down the outside and claim some objective points and shoot whoever he shoots. And then I place
the gunship in the centre is DGS 286, and the one on the right
is the I3.
Yeah.
So yeah, on the far right, I place DGS-047 with the idea that he's going to probably turn in and just hover around the objective, maybe score a point. And then DGS-286 just to the right of the center on my side, because I don't know where you're going, and my gunships can basically go where I need them to. It's just like, well, if you just form up across from Vizsla and go for the kill, I'll be like, well, I'll just take the center objective.
Yeah.
Because my gunships, they have some punch, but they're not really here to punch. They're here to soak up fire and score points from objectives and just sneakily side shot.
Yeah.
So if I can get them to sit next to objectives for a turn or two, fantastic.
So I set up Sabine opposite 047 because I'm going to stick Luke there as well. And then I set up Hull, who basically sets up just to the left of the objective that is closest to my board edge. He's just going to slowly amble into the middle and see where you go.
So then it comes to my 5s. So I put Volandas on the outside of DGS-047 on the far right, because opposite Sabine, I'm basically saying either you commit something else to this side, or Sabine fights Volan. And that is that. Or you don't commit anything and Sabine leaves, and then that's fine. My gunship has my objective.
Yes.
And I placed Dirge to the right of Vizsla, basically aiming to go into the center of the triple rock you've set up. Because if I go fast and then next turn I do a sort of a bank maneuver, I should be roughly in the center. And if we're whole set up, if you're going straight, hopefully I'll be able to line up a bullseye onto you, depending on how fast you go.
Yeah.
Because the way you're going, you're either turning away, in which case, fine, you're turning away, or you're going in between two rocks, and that does at least limit where you can go.
Yep.
Maybe not massively, but somewhat, and I can line up a bullseye onto that, hopefully.
So I set up Luke to the left of Sabine, basically saying, sure, come at me if you want, Volan. Really want. I will not instinctive aim a torpedo at you all day long. But I actually think I make a mistake by setting up Luke on the outside of Sabine. Because I was concerned that... Because I'm going to dial in a full straight in case you've gone fast. And I thought if I set up on the inside, I'm even with the attack speed, it might just be out of range 3.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, if you're aiming for the attack speed thing, I think you do need to set up opposite me.
I don't think I should have.
Somewhat.
I think I should have set up on the inside, because if you fall straight at me and I miss the attack speed, fine, we don't shoot each other. But then you've either got to turn in front of me, or you've got to go behind me. And if you try doing your shenanigans and you're not first player,
yeah,
then you're going to be sad.
50-50 sadness.
Exactly. But also, if my plan succeeds and you turn everything away because you're just like, nope, I've made it harder for Luke to get into the centre for the engage that's going to happen there.
Yeah, that is a point.
Effectively a good, probably 2
Basically
ships length.
Be delayed by a turn.
Yeah, it's effectively like a 3 straight behind where I could be. So yeah, that was just something I was thinking about looking at it there. But then I set up my 6s and make more mistakes. I set up Fen to the right of Hull because he's going to trundle along with Hull and swarm tactics him up. But the likelihood is, looking at where you've set up, and I've got perfect board information now, either Vizsla comes down and turns in, or he goes straight, and Dirge comes in that gap, which means I'm very likely turning to the right. Because I'm not going to put all my munitions into one of your gunships and just get flanked by
Dirge and
Vizsla.
Because they are... Like, Volan does damage, but Dirge and Vizsla are the hammers of the list.
Yeah.
Like, they're the ones who are going to be rolling the dice.
What I should have done was set up Fen to the left of Hull and have him trail, because Fen's got a much better dial. It's easy. If I need to jump him over Hull, he can do that, but not so much the other way around. And
yeah,
I have to get Hull in and get the APT off before he dies, but I also need to do it with everyone else, because otherwise he just dies.
Yeah, it's like you throw the APT at, let's say, Dirge, and you deal damage, and then chances are where we're set up, Vizsla and Dirge shoot back at you.
Yeah.
And if you're in Dirge's bullseye, it's going to be painful.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes, keep him near Fen, but I think because Fen just has, focus into boost, the Fang Fighter dial, he should have been the other side. And what I should have done was set up Wedge closer. Wedge is to the left of Hull, but about 4 ship bases away. My thoughts were he's going to do like a full straight or something fast like that, cut round the middle Pride of Mandalore rock and curl in towards the centre. But that's just unnecessary flanking. Like I've got Luke there out on the flank. Wedge, I should have just kept Wedge closer, because Wedge needs to be... Well, it doesn't need to be range 1. He's still a threat at any range, but wants to get into range 1.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, if you go around the center, you're flanking my gunship, and I'm just sort of like, yeah, okay, I guess. If you APT my gunship, that's probably a net win for me, unless it's winning you the game.
Yeah. So yeah.
That being said, I fully advocate absolutely use your munitions when you can, but in the context of this game, when you could have chosen where you were going to start,
Yeah.
you're essentially setting up to joust my gunship.
I also have no ships at range 1. It's a trap currently.
Yes.
But let's get into it.
So yeah, I'm taking the turn away option. So my gunship, because you win priority, which I get on the overlay shortly. I think I switch it up after we've done all the moving. My I1 gunship just does a 2 hard and calculates. My I3 does a 1 straight and calculates. Vizsla does a 4 straight and focuses. And Sabine, I believe, is a 5 straight.
Sabine did do a 5 straight. I didn't opt to boost because I didn't want to overcommit. I also wanted to leave my options open that if I needed to turn in or disengage, I could. And I know I can like boost and 3 bank and be range 1 of the objective the next turn.
Yeah.
Then hold us a 2 straight. And focuses. And Luke does a 4 straight and just takes a focus because Volan hasn't moved.
Yeah. So Dirge does I believe that is a 3 straight and I just focus. And then Volan does a 1 hard to the left and focuses. Because, yeah, when Luke went down, Volan was piecing out. There's no point trying to get involved in that nonsense.
I mean, I assumed that was what was going to happen, but you still have to cover the bases.
What it's one of those things where it's like, what if I think Luke is turning away and I just steam Volan at Sabine, and then you'll be like, why did I set up this threat and then not follow through?
Exactly. And also the fact that if I turned away, you just 1 hard and come back in at the TIE Fighter.
Yes, exactly.
So we go to the 6s. Fen just does a 2 straight alongside Hull and focuses. Wedge does a 4 straight and focuses. And what I should have done there was boosted.
Boost. Yeah.
Sure, take a complete 2 bank next turn.
Yeah.
But
or even a banky boost and then 2-3 straight.
I'm looking at this and I'm going, well, Dirge is going to bank in next turn. And I don't think I can get range 1 with the Y-Wing. Which means he lines up a proton cannon and just starts killing me before I even get a chance to get in. I thought, and honestly, still looking at this from this angle, I thought I was safe from pre-Vizsla this turn. I thought I'd have 1 more turn. But what I should have done this turn is just 1 straighted with Hull hung back. Yes, you're going to get a proton cannon. If you line up the bullseye, I don't think I could stop that.
I would almost certainly have to stress myself to do it.
And that's the thing. Putting myself further in just makes it easier for you.
Yeah.
And I don't have a way of getting Wedge or Luke in fast enough that I can get all my munitions off at the same time on the same target.
Yeah.
There is a small part of me that thinks I should have just set up everything together and...
I mean, I think this list does kind of work best like that.
Yeah. Or at least Wedge in and Luke, as I say, Luke on the inside. But there we go. So, into turn 2. Yeah,
so, because it's interesting, because I spent a lot of time looking at pre-Vizsla this turn, trying to work out a thing, and maybe it's just where I was like, I think the 3 bank just skims past that debris. Because I was using the good old angle trick on the rock, and so the debris is in my firing arc, but a 3 bank goes quite far, and so I was looking at that and thinking I reckon I'm gonna skim just past that because the angle is not quite tight enough for me to be touching it.
Whereas obviously
I was like, and if I am touching it, I've got the objective.
Yeah. Whereas I was just like, I can see it's in your firing up. Obviously, I don't quite have the angle you do or the close. I thought I was safe from it, but I'm more concerned about Dirge at this point.
Yeah. So, DGS047 does a 2-bank to the right, sort of banking slowly into the center, and just calculates, and he puts himself into side slip mode. The DGS286 stops because I'm not 100% sure where Wedge is coming, and whilst you may necessarily not want to lob an APT into a gunship, I don't want to just give it to you.
Yeah.
And he doesn't flip his stabilizers until he just hangs back, because I don't know where Wedge and Luke are going. Ideally, I want you to sweep in and commit, and then the gunships can engage a little bit safer. And then Vizsla dies in a 3-bank, skims just past the debris, and I believe I focus this turn? Yeah.
So Sabine does a pre-position boost, and then I think just does 5 straight. I thought about the bank, and then I was like, she doesn't need to shoot. It's not her job. Like, just get her up as close to the objective as she can, and she can happily sit around there. And I think I take a focus that you can't quite see. And then I 3-bank Hull, because I was just trying to point down towards Dirge, and I, as I say, I didn't think you'd be 3-banking in, because I didn't think it fit. And now I'm like, okay, I'm in a bit of trouble here, because this is range 2, I can't get into range 1. So I focus. I precise astromech for a lock, because I'm reasonably confident I'll be doing a blue maneuver next turn.
Yeah. And you do have Dirge in range, which is important.
And I lock Dirge.
So Dirge does that 3-bank, and then I barrel roll to the left and link it into a focus. Because I'm pretty sure that lines at the bullseye, and I angle backwards in a vague attempt to get out of range 1. I think I've just made it, but until we measure, it's one of those things where it's like, you're never quite sure. And Verlin just does a 4 straight and focuses. In hindsight, maybe it would have been nice to do a 1 hard and take on Sabine, but again, it's like the threat of Luke just chasing after Sabine. Like, yeah, if I've done what I've done, I'm probably safe. But if I hadn't done what I'd done, and Luke just gets a free Volan kill, then he's almost made up his points already.
Yeah.
So Volan's just piecing out for a couple of turns.
Luke 3-banks, because I had to keep the arc vaguely pointing up there in case you had 1-harded back in. And that would have been fine, because he could have 3-banked in the next turn. Get in. If I hadn't have thrown Hull in, because if Hull had just done a 1 straight...
Yeah, the next turn you have 4 ships fighting in the centre.
Maybe that barrel roll still lines up Dirge's bullseye, but it would have been close.
It would have been range 3 as well, most likely.
Like, if somebody...
Honestly, it would have been close. I may not even have tried for it.
Yeah. So, yeah. I do this too often, Hull over-engages. Luke reaches for a lock. Nothing in range. That's fine. Fen, 5 straights over the Y-wing, which is perfect. Goes over the Y-wing like I hoped. But it's just fractionally closer to the rock than I thought, because I was hoping to be able to boost him right so that he's basically alongside Hull.
Alongside Hull.
But that is not going to work, so I just focus. And then Wedge does a 3-bank in and takes a focus. And we go shooting.
Yes.
And I swarm tactics up Hull to I6. And we measure range, and it is range 2 into Dirge. I think I go into Dirge. I roll hit focus. I spend the focus, I believe, because you have dead to rights, so it's not going to do much on defense. And 1 green. It's 1 green. Then we realise that my dice don't show up well on the camera.
Yeah.
Apologies for this. If you're watching, in a minute we literally try all the dice to... and after having watched it back, actually the ones that work the best are red and green. So we've got a few more games of old dice, but from this week onwards I'm just going to get people to use the normal dice. So a few weeks' time that will clear up. But yeah, I end up with hit crit.
And I roll blank blank. So shields down on Dirge.
Oh, there we go. Looking at what works. And then I think Fen has a range 3 shot. I go into the gunship that stopped because he has no mods. And I roll, I don't know, I saw a crit in there somewhere, but...
And I rolled an evade focus, so I lose a couple of shields, I believe.
2 shields. And then I think Wedge has the same shot.
And I take a shield and 2 damage.
Yes. Go. Wedge has 2 focus tokens. Go Wedge.
Yeah,
And
go
Wedge.
So now it's proton cannon time.
Yes.
I roll focus, focus, hit, hit. I spend my focus, and then marksmanship and proton cannon for hit, hit, crit, crit.
I roll a focus. So I take the 2 shields and the 2 crits. And the crit, well, I'm guessing one of them was a fuel leak or a direct because I've taken...
So weapons failure and direct hit.
So, holes down to 3.
Luke's out of range.
Luke's out of range. Yep. So it goes to
Vizsla. And I opt to trigger my ability to try and take out Hull, and I roll my 4 dice attack. I believe I end up with 3 hits without spending the focus.
Yes. Because you could have spent the focus, couldn't you?
No, I think I couldn't have.
Well,
or maybe I did, and I just haven't taken it away.
That's interesting because I rolled a focus on defense, which means that if I'd kept my focus for my attack, I might have lived.
Yes. Yeah, I think I couldn't roll. I think I couldn't spend the focus. I think I just rolled like hit crit or something, in a blank.
Fair.
And because when I opted to spend the token, you were like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yes," because I need to make sure Hold dies.
Yeah.
Because if he lives, he's going to get to shoot.
Yeah.
I can't stop him from shooting. And then I think we roll my gunships shooting, and then we all remember Sabine.
Yeah.
And I don't think my gunships did anything.
No, I think your gunships went into Fen at range 3 because I was rolling 4 dice. And I dodge it. And this is your I1 going into Fen at range 3, and I dodge it.
Yeah. And I get a target lock on you, and I give you a strain, I think. Or maybe I don't. I can't remember.
I don't think I'm in the bullseye.
Yeah. And then after objectives, I'm on 5 points to your 1 currently.
Yes, 2-1 on objectives to you. And I'm like, okay. At least Dirge is stressed, so he's not turning around on me, but I'm almost in the position where I want to be, just minus an APT, because Luke does a 3-bank in, he can stay back because he's got the Protorps, Wedge banks in, Fen does a hard 1, something like that, and happy days. I actually think is this the turn I Talon roll Fen? I can't remember.
Yes, I think it is.
Because I was like, alright, fine, the gunships are coming in, but it'll put me behind a rock, which will give me an extra green, and... as you say...
Whereas my plan is, gunships sweep in, Vizsla and Dirge bank in, Volan... I can't remember what I do with Volan. I think I turn in with Volan this turn, because he's got a bunch of chaff in the way of him. And... one way this list works is if you split fire because, sneaky Volan shot, where there's a 3 health gunship as well, it's sort of like, I want you to split fire because Volan can potentially survive a proton torpedo. He has 3 agility, probably a focus, and elusive.
Yes.
What he can't survive is Luke, Fen, and Wedge all shooting him.
Yeah. So we go into turn 3. And I believe this is you checking for a Mando optics.
Yes, because I tried to optics because I thought Fen might be in front arc, but he is not. And then we, what do I still have to spend it? And we realize, yes, I do, because it says select an object in my front arc, and there is a rock right in front of me, so I have to lock it.
Yeah. Don't the scenario objectives count as an object as well?
I believe so. I have no idea if you can even lock them. I assume you can.
I thought they were listed under objects in the rules reference, but
be.
I'll have to check that.
So my I1 gunship, because I have priority, just does a 3 straight and calculates.
You
Oh,
don't.
you have priority.
I have priority.
I changed it now. Very well.
Sabine does a preposition boost and then a 1 hard and takes a focus.
My I3 gunship, I believe, does a 3 straight over the top of my other gunship. I calculate, and then Vizsla does a 1 bank and takes a target lock onto Wedge.
Luke does a 3 banking, and I believe I go for a target lock. I say I'll be gobsmacked if I don't, and I lock Vizsla.
Volan does a 1 hard, tries to barrel roll behind Sabine, but doesn't quite do it, and I'm just like, okay, that's fine. Luke isn't shooting at me, Wedge isn't shooting at me. Sorry, Wedge currently isn't shooting at me, but I'm relatively safe. And Dirge just does a 1 bank and bumps into Fen, and I elect not to take the red focus.
Fen does his talent. Sorry, carry on.
Because my thought being there was, well, Luke's locked Vizsla, and Dirge should live Wedge and Fen shooting him. So he might be okay. Because, yes, okay, sure, you can instinctively maybe Protorp into Dirge. I couldn't stop that. And chances are, by the time Luke shoots, I'd have spent my focus anyway.
Yeah. So Wedge does a 1 bank. And then I'm left with a difficult choice. I am range 1 of Dirge, and I can just get that APT, double-bodied APT off. No depletes, no stress, no nothing. Great. I don't think I can boost in to get a range 1 on Pre-Vizsla. But as you say, I've locked him with Luke. I really don't want to split fire because your ships are tanky enough that, like, when I go for Vizsla, I have to. Sorry, when I go for Dirge, I have to almost try and overkill him to try and compensate for the ability. So what I do is I opt for a barrel roll into a focus. Or focused into a roll, get a stress, spend the trigger to acquire the lock, and I can't remember who I lock, so we'll see.
I'm rolling 2, so it could be either of my ships.
I roll some paint, and I'll find out who we take it off in a second. It's Dirge!
Yeah, Dirge.
So I've gone into Dirge.
Well.
Did I may well have not opted to trigger the droid because I've lined up the bullseye. So maybe I'm thinking that I just range 1 into Dirge, bullseye focus. Because he's got Predator. Yeah. I forget to take the stress off because, Fen triggers and all that. But hey. That looks...
I reckon he shot with Fen first.
It must be. I shot. Must be. Okay. Man, it's hard to see sometimes with that gauntlet in the way. So that must have been a Fen shot, which was quite nice then. And then I must APT into Dirge. Looks like I end up with 3 hits and a crit.
I roll some measure of evades. I trigger my ability, and I end up with 2 health left.
Okay, but at least he's dead.
And then this is the instinctive aim torpedo into Dirge.
And I believe
so
I kill him.
Dirge does die.
I believe I kill him.
I believe I go range 1 into Wedge with my Dirge return shot here.
Yeah. I roll focus blank, and I take a shield.
Yeah. Volan, I'm just checking for range on people. I think I end up going into... I'm assuming Fen here, but I could go into Luke with Volan. I know it's range 3.
I think you went into Fen and did nothing.
Yeah. And then the gunship start shooting.
I believe that was Sabine.
Oh, Sabine into the gunship, yeah.
And I don't think I did anything there.
So Vizsla shot into Wedge, and I don't think did anything.
Nope.
Possibly a shield. And then the gunships all started shooting Fen.
Yes, they do. Fen takes a damage, and then Fen takes nothing. So Fen loses 1.
Yeah.
And we check for objectives.
And it is 6-5 to me at the end of that, because I only have the 1 objective that Vizsla's still holding.
Yes, and I have... I think just the one Sabine's holding. looking at that.
I think we're tied. Volan's still in range because
Ooh, okay.
you gained 1 last round and 4 for killing Dirge this round.
Yeah, that'll be what it is. So now I'm like, I've got a strain on Fen, but that's fine. He's doing a blue maneuver. Like, the problem I have is I think that. Do I think Previsler's stopping or not? Is the question.
Yeah.
Because if he's stopping, 1 straight. If he's not stopping, 4k.
So my I1 gunship does a 3-bank side slip to the left, and I've not gone quite as far as I wanted because I wanted to slip past the rock and maybe be contesting the bottom left objective. Alas, I'm not. I'm just sat in front of it, which means I'm going to have to do a 1 straight. And obviously, I'm stressed, so it's just that I just have my good old target lock onto Fen for mods. My I3 gunship just does a 1 straight, flips the stabilizers, and calculates. Just trying to get in the way of Luke, really. And Vizsla just stops, but does not flip the wings, because chances are I'm getting shot.
Yeah. Sabine barrel rolls behind Volan, and then 3 banks over him. Basically, I was trying to block a 2 straight, or hopefully a 3 straight. Just trying to make Volan's life awkward. And she takes a focus.
Volan does a 3 bank and just slips over Sabine. To the left and is heading towards the center. And then I have decisions to make with Volan. I think I just focus because Luke is still to go, and if you have bumped into my gunship like I want you to, that means if I do anything fancy, I will end up getting shot in the bum with Volan.
Yes.
And Wedge and Fen are still to go, and I don't know where they're going to end up. So I just take a focus, because that way Volan's shenanigans are open to be usable next turn.
Yes. Luke does bump. I was reasonably confident you were going to throw a gunship in there, but I've already got the lock on Vizsla. Red focus is fine.
Yeah.
Wedge, I think, did a 2 straight.
Yes.
And I'm looking at that, guessing it clears because I'm umming and ahhing about what to do. And I opt to barrel roll because I'm trying to get out of Vizsla's arc.
Yep. Because my ability is back online now.
Yes.
And whilst... And I think, at this point, you probably can't kill Vizsla with your 3 ships. You can do a lot of damage, but you probably can't kill it.
Not in 1 round.
And there's no point just eating a 5-dice shot for no reason.
Yeah. So I barrel roll
you've still got a range 1 shot here, almost certainly.
And I opt not to link that into a focus because I want the option to turn around. Like, yes, I know I'm getting shot at by Volan and maybe a gunship, but I've still got the majority of my health. I can take some punches. Fen 2 hards over Wedge to clear his stress and his strain. And barrel rolls into a focus to be, hey, look, I'm range 1 of Dirge. Not Dirge, Volan. It's Fangs. They love range 1. It's all good.
I believe you Swarm Tactics Wedge.
Yes, because I believe he's the only one I can. So, sure. Wedge, I think, does have a shot into Vizsla.
Yep.
And I do nothing. This is Fen going into Volan. I roll crit, focus, blank. And I spend the focus because, alright, yes, you're getting a range 1 back at me, but the chance of getting a crit through on one of those 3 hull has got to be worth it.
Yeah, it's got to be worth it. So I roll evade double focus. I spend my focus for 3 evades.
Which I'm kind of okay with, because at least then
It nerfs my attack.
It nerfs your attack. I've got Concordia. Right.
And so then I just shoot back into you, because yes, you have Concordia, but if your dice just whiff, that's got to be worth it. Because like it's the same thing in return. Like I'm throwing 4 dice into your 3.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I only do put 1 damage through. But it's one of those things where it's like, yes, you have Concordia, yes, you have a guaranteed evade, but if the other 2 dice are blanks...
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if the other 2 dice are focuses, now you spent your focus. It's one of those weird situations. Like, would I have liked to have shot Wedge? Yes, but no one else can, so there's no point.
So I believe Luke lobs a torpedo into Pre-Vizsla, and that looks like I end up with 2 hits and 2 crits.
Yep, I believe this is where the blinded pilot gets put on.
Yes. Because you get a
Yeah,
fuel
blinded
leak
pilot
off the
and a fuel
first
leak.
one.
Yeah.
And then a blinded on the second, and then a damage from the fuel leak. Because I believe you blanked, so they all went through.
Yeah, this one hurt because I still have my lock onto. I don't know, I think I have the lock onto Wedge, which is unfortunate. So I just shoot into Luke. I have no other shot with Vizsla. And then my gunship shoots into Fen and doesn't do anything, and my other gunship fires the diamond borer into Fen and doesn't do anything.
Interestingly, it looks like you didn't opt to use Pre-Vizsla's ability on your shot into Luke.
Yes, because my thought was, okay, that's fine. I will clear my stress, get rid of the blinded pilot, and then I still have the lock and the boosted attack, presumably into Luke.
Yeah. See, I think with the blinded, I might have just done it for pure extra dice, better odds on. But
maybe I should have, but at the same time, I was like, you got the force. It's not a great shot. I would rather save it for it when I have a good shot.
That's fair.
That is likely because if I do it now and it's just 4 dice into 2, like I might get 1 or 2 through, but like I have no mods. And then the next round I'm just a normal ship.
Oh.
So I thought I'd rather have it for that one time where I can actually just make the best use of it and actually use my modifications.
We have managed to skip over the most important attack of that round, which was where the little TIE fighter that could shot into the back of Volan at range 1 and knocked 2 of his 3 health off.
Yeah, pretty elusive as well.
Yeah. Oh man, I love Sabine. I'm an objective monkey. Pang!
Yeah. Well, I wish Volan did that sometimes. It would be nice if Volan could roll hot for once.
You score 1 objective point, so it's 7-5 in your favour.
But I am losing the damage race, because that turn I put 2 damage onto Fen, and I took, 3, 4 damage onto Vizsla.
5 off
Vizsla.
5 off Vizsla, 2 off Volan. But it's turn something.
Turn something or other. Turn 4.
No, turn 5.
Turn 5.
Because you've scored 4 objective points, so it must be turn 5.
And I drop a seismic with my gunship.
Yes.
My I-1 gunship does a 2 hard to the left because I'm optimistic. Unfortunately, this time I do hit the debris. I take a stress. I don't take a damage, but I'm contesting an objective. Not ideal, but I'll take it. And then Sabine barrel rolls to the left and 5 straights.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get in Vizsla's way.
Yeah.
If I can stop you repairing that blinded pilot, great.
Exactly. So my gunship does a 2 hard side slip to the right, and I believe target locks Luke.
Sure.
Or Sabine. I target lock someone.
You target lock Sabine.
I target lock Sabine. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, because I target lock Sabine because I know I've got a shot.
Yeah.
And if Luke is there for the cluster missile, great.
So Vizsla does bump.
Yeah, 1 bank bump. I don't take the red focus. And I think this is probably a mistake, but again, I'm trying to stay unstressed so I can do moves that aren't blue and fix that blinded pilot. It's probably a mistake, but at the same time, I was like, Wedge wouldn't have a great shot. I didn't think Fen might, but he's stressed, so he probably has like maybe a range 2 because he has to dodge Luke.
So
I thought I might be relatively safe.
During the game, that mystery stress that was on Wedge, that we were like, I'm sure you talked about fenning that away, and then did you not just remove that?
It's Fen stress, isn't it?
It's Fen stress, yeah. Oh, let's see what
we do with it.
Let's see what I dialed in with Fen. Luke 1 banks in, because at this point I'm just got to try and kill Vizsla now. That will near enough win me the game, so. Or put me ahead enough that.
Yeah. So I 5k Volan. I ditch my stress. Oh, this is where we get this. This is when do we put the stress next to Fen? And then we add a stress.
Okay,
What were we
I'm
doing?
confused.
What were we doing?
Where's that stress? Hang on, let me just go.
That was Volan's stress. I picked it up and I said I get rid of the stress. And you've put it back down next to Wedge.
All right, because we were like, "Where's this stress from?" It must be from Wedge. No, and I purposely didn't link it the previous turn.
Yeah.
Ironically,
Well, what?
looking at it from this angle, I didn't link it because I wanted to too hard. I think a too hard actually puts me on the rock. So,
Yeah.
but all right, okay. So I didn't mix up fence, which means hopefully I've dialed in the right maneuver. All right, it's not the be all and end all.
I put a strain onto Luke, and I take a focus action with Volan because I can't quite boost or anything. You do a 1 bank with Wedge,
which clears
you said you thought you were stressed, which is why you put in the 1 bank.
I don't know. Yeah, probably because I put the stress from Fen in a weird place and it looked like it could have been next to thing. But it's fine. I just take a focus because I'm sat range 1 of the gunship. Fen does do it too hard. Oh yeah, because I was bugging out.
Yeah.
And I hope to God I boost here. I don't think I can dodge.
I feel like either way you go, I can pick a rock that gets you.
Even straight, I think the asteroid might just be close enough. Yeah. So I opt to go, fine, I'm taking it. I attempt to barrel roll to the right to get out of Vizsla's arc, and it fits.
You link it to a focus. So I blow up the rock that you just barrel rolled near to. It hits my gunship, it hits Fen, and it hits Wedge.
Yeah, I linked to the focus because I know I'm taking a shot from Volan.
Yeah.
And
I think it didn't hit Luke specifically.
Yeah, okay. No swarm tactics. So Wedge does his range 1 into the gunship.
I take 2 shields.
2 shields. I get a focus back. And then I'm guessing it's Luke next. I'm debating whether to go into Volan here. And I think... No. Oh, is it range 1? It might be range 1, which is why...
I think it's range 1.
And I end up
Volan, I believe, dies.
Yeah, because I end up with 2 hits, 2 crits. In fact, I think I rolled 2 hits, 2 crits out of hand.
Yeah.
And Volan dies.
And you fend away the strain.
And I fend away
the... Important.
Yes.
That's very important.
Yes. Because I remembered it.
And I think that was definitely... my shot must have done nothing because I don't feel like I rolled dice there.
I thought I saw you pick them up, but we can scooty back a second. That's Luke.
That's my evade.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Focus blank. I think I spent the focus for 1 and you just dodged it.
Yeah. Sorry, I haven't slowed it down again. I keep forgetting to. Yeah, so that was pretty good for me. In fact, let's not lie, that was very good for me.
Yeah, but it was 1 health, Volan. Chances are it was going to happen. And I believe this is my 3s now shooting.
Yeah, you start piling into Luke.
Yeah, so I cluster missile into Sabine, don't do anything. Bounce it into Luke, don't do anything. Vizsla ups his gun and shoots into Luke and doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I think you rolled a couple of blanks and then a couple of focuses.
Yeah, and then the blinded pilot means that I can't even Bo-Katan.
And then I think the gunship... We spent ages checking to see if it has Wedge in arc. I think we go, no, he's not in arc. And then you're like, he's on a debris anyway. Why are we checking?
Yeah, they're like, I'm not sure why I'm umming and ahhing over this. I'm on a debris. I can't shoot. So we check objectives. I have the gunships 1, and I believe I have the center 1.
No, you don't.
It's tied.
That's
tied.
tied.
Speed under there. Yeah. So it's 1-0 to me, and it's 9-8 to you.
And there's like 9.5 minutes left.
Yeah.
It's like... Eeh. But more importantly, like, every one of your 3 remaining ships could die.
Yeah.
Like, Vizsla's still got 6 health, but if I can get 2 ships on one of yours, I've got
Yeah.
a good chance of finishing it off. Because if I remember rightly, I think Luke's still got 1 torp left, because I threw 1... No,
Yeah.
no, I can see the
No,
charges.
you've thrown both.
I've thrown both. But I've still got a lock on, which is the important thing. Oh, and I've also lost a shield, which we haven't flipped on the overlay, because I can see it flipped over there.
So my gunship does a...
More importantly, actually, I think Volan might have shot into Fen, not Luke, because Fen's down to 1. No,
yes, I think that was
no, it's not. No, because
Fen was down to 1 from the bomb.
I was going to say that was the seismic, wasn't it? Yeah.
But I think I did shoot into Fen because I was like, I'm going to try and get this 1 health off you.
Yeah.
Because my thought was Luke's full health or fullish health. No, yeah, it was full health at the time Volan died. Has the Force. If at this point Volan's died, I just need the plink.
Yeah.
Fen, and I didn't get it.
So
my gunship does a 2 hard, flips the stabilizers into side slip mode, and calculates. My other gunship with the cluster missiles does a 1 straight and calculates. Vizsla does a 2 hard to the right into the center of the board and fixes the blinded pilot.
Sabine does a boost and then does a K-turn, sticks her down. Hey, look, on that objective that it's taken me the entire game to get back to on my bottom edge.
Yeah, but you got there.
I did get there. Luke does a Talon roll. And Wedge does a Talon roll. Because kind of figured something should be over there. And then Fen's like, nope, too hard away. Focus into a boost. Or just boost.
Yeah.
Must be out both the arcs. Get over to that objective, claim that. So Wedge goes into Vizsla and does...
I believe puts 3 damage in.
Okay.
And then...
Luke finishes off. Let's see. Nope. Gets down to 1. And then we start measuring. And this, I think, is your gunships going into... I'm guessing Luke, because you've got shots from both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was Vizsla out the front into Wedge. And I put a structural damage on him.
Yep.
Because of my target lock from a million years ago, I finally get to spend. And I shoot out the back. I tried to shoot out the back into Sabine and fail. My I3 gunship, I believe, tried to just plink into Sabine.
And failed.
And my I1 gunship just only has Luke, so didn't do anything.
I believe Sabine shoots into Vizsla, but... No, can't have shot into Vizsla because it didn't have range. Must have shot into the gunship. Doesn't do anything. That's fine.
Yeah. And then it is 9-11 to you.
Yeah. The timer goes as we're in the planning phase, so last round.
But I'm pretty confident I've lost this game, because I don't think I can stop Vizsla from dying.
It's the problem, isn't it? Like, all I do is just try and turn Fen round, and...
Yeah.
But also...
Honestly, a 2 hard to Vizsla's right might have had the best chance, because that might just skip inside Luke, and if Wedge has gone the wrong way, I'm at least alive.
Yeah. Also, I don't think you could score more objective points than me, and I certainly don't think you could score 3 more objective points than me.
Yeah.
So long as if Wedge
what it would have to be,
Wedge...
I would need Vizsla to live and Wedge to die,
yeah,
and then
that's it,
I would
isn't
maybe
it?
get. I need Vizsla to live, Wedge to die, and I could maybe score 2 objective points. Like my I1 gunship can get the far one. If Vizsla is alive, he can maybe get the center or the bottom right one. But
yeah,
that's a long shot.
But I've got like Sabine will just stay. Actually, I think I'd throw Sabine in to just contest the center one to stop you doing that, and Fen K turns to stay range one of the other one.
Yeah,
but like
all of it is contingent. I actually think, because I know what I do with Vizsla, and I think I definitely should have hard turned into Vizsla's right, so like my left, because at least that would cut inside Luke.
Yeah. Wedge is just going to one straight because even if we
Yeah.
bump, our trained range 0 shots. I've got to plink
Yeah.
1, you've got to plink 3. Like,
Yeah. But like that would be better than potentially taking like a range 1 or 2.
oh yeah, for sure.
For me. Anyway, so my gunship, my gunship drops a seismic just in case. Like I said, if Sabine shoots forward, 1 damage might legit be enough.
Yep.
But Vizsla 3 banks to the left, and that seals my fate basically because I've given Luke a shot. My gunship does a 2 bank to the right into the center and calculates, trying to vaguely block Luke. My other gunship stupidly side slips, actually. But I think I know what I was thinking. I was thinking if I can kill Wedge, and like I said, if I can kill Wedge and Vizsla somehow lives, maybe.
Yeah.
Because my gunship has a target lock on Wedge and still has a Diamond Boron, I believe. Which, could do it.
Yeah. Sabine just does a 2 straight. I think it's trying to keep a range 1 at the bottom objective. Luke does bump. Takes the red focus. Wedge does a 1 straight. Because I wasn't expecting that 3 bank, I have to admit. So it doesn't have a shot on Vizsla, but does have a shot on your gunship. And if I'm right... No, that's the one with 5 health left, isn't it?
No, it's the one with 3. DJ047 is in the very bottom. He has 5 health.
And I barrel roll into a focus because I think it might line up the bullseye.
Yeah. I blow up the rock and deal damage to Sabine.
I do have bullseye. I end up with 4 hits.
Yeah, so you kill the gunship.
Fen goes into
range 3.
Vizsla, which doesn't do anything. And then Luke shoots
focus.
And plinks the 1 through.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, what I should have done, even though you didn't expect the 3 bank, I instead of like dodging the wedge shot, I just gave Fen a shot.
Yeah.
And I think I would have been better off just taking the 1. Like, had I just taken the 1 range 0 shot from Wedge, than like we saw, like I took the shot from Fen and lived because I had a focus. Had I just been taking the 1 shot from Wedge and Luke didn't have a shot into me, maybe. Like I said, long shot, but maybe.
Yeah.
But these are the sort of shots you need to be taking. You need to be thinking about, okay, actually, if I do this and I just take a range 0 from Wedge and nothing from Luke, I might win. Because my bum, if I'm alive, is still contesting objectives. And as long as the gunship lives, which he could have done if Wedge didn't shoot,
Yeah.
I would have that center objective. Alas, I didn't, because I was banking on basically dodging the X-Wings and hoping to shoot out the bum into Wedge and try and utilize that structural damage.
Yeah. So, recap. So I took this list to Incom on Saturday, and I went 1 and 3 with it.
Ooh.
I played Chris, of course. By the end of the day, I was not, including the practice games I'd had, but when I started tallying, I was 7-6 with this list, and 4 of those 6 losses are to Chris, because I really struggle against this list. But the take from the day was, what I was finding was Hull was the issue. Because either he got his APT off, which is great, but he just died, and then it's a 1 punch and nothing, or he died before he got his APT off, because it turns out that Y-Wings will still die quite easily to like range 3 shots and stuff, because everything is so good on attack. Because that's how AMG want the game. They want you rolling lots of dice, and lots of things have mods at the moment. It just burns through. And like, I've got 2 APTs, a Fang and a Proton Torpedo, and I was like, I played B-Wings. I was like, I should be able to just kill a B-Wing. And it doesn't quite happen like that. And there were times because it's a Y-Wing that you just don't quite get range 1. And then they really do die at range 2. Like, just just melt. And I think part of that is the ship and the dial, but I also think a part of it is me, because I must get it into range 1 to get that APT off. I end up overcommitting.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm actually going to swap Hull out. Not because I think he's a bad choice, but I think because if I don't have I must get into range 1 or he dies, I won't overcommit with him because it's not there. So my plan is actually to swap him for Gemma in the A-Wing, because Gemma will force me to play the objective game a little bit more, which I think is a particular weakness in my game. I like playing murder lists, and then when I misjudge it, things don't die. Plus, the rest of the list is strong. Like, this game is a perfect example. I lost Hull with Hull, throwing 2 dice?
Yeah, you threw 2 dice into Dirge. Took off his shields, which was relevant.
But still 2 dice. Like, and the rest of the list still carried the game.
Yeah.
So, but like, Fenn, Wedge, and Luke can't particularly afford to be doing scenario stuff. Certainly not after the first couple of turns. So having a second scenario piece in there, I think, would add more flexibility. He does have the ability to not punch, but because he's got his cannon and his turret, you can have both arcs covered. More plink damage.
Yeah.
He's got his ability for survivability. So that's what I think I'm going to try. And what it also does is it means I can get rid of swarm tactics on Fenn, which then allows Fenn to go to, say, Beskar Predator and Mando Optics.
And become more of a kill ship with additional support.
Because that's what the Fang wants to do. It wants to be in range 1 and blowing stuff. So, yeah. That's my current take on this list.
Yeah. Whereas my current take is I just like my list. Vizsla's good, Dirge is good, the gunships are good. Volan, honestly, could be any of the other 4-point ships, and I think would do similar things.
Yeah.
I've discussed swapping it for Dis T81 again, but I kind of like having the i5, and I feel like if I put in Dis T81, I'll just remember all the times I wished he was Volan, whereas now I've got Volan, I remember all the times I wish he was Dis.
Yeah. I just think those are side grades.
Yeah.
That's...
Because in this game, Volan did get to do the thing. It was unfortunate that Sabine put 2 damage onto him.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And also unfortunate that because I was first player that turn, I could ditch the strain on Luke before you could take advantage of it. If you'd been first player, then...
Yes, if I'd been first player, then that's a different story, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
But that is what it is. So it's one of the things where I like the list, like Dirge works. I might try swapping out Volan for Cad. And just try and get a bit more bulk, and just have Cad with maybe sync laser cannons or something, and just be a 3-dice gun. But that is something for later.
Yeah, that might be worth it.
I've also come to the conclusion that I actually think in this day and age, Blinded Pilot is the worst crit.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Because so many things have mods.
Yeah.
And lots of them are double modded.
Yeah.
Because if I think Volan is my one exception, in that Volan is usually only single modded, but Vizsla, Focus Bo-Katan, Dirge, okay, often single modded, but he usually wants to target lock, and Proton Cannons self double mod where you got a target lock. The gunships double mod themselves very easily. Blinded Pilot shuts all of that down, and I think it hurts everyone.
In my list, it cripples the attacks on Hull, Fenn, and Wedge. Luke is neutered. It
still hurts Luke, yeah.
And Sabine's just well, I was only plinking anyway, so...
Yeah, Sabine is,
But...
Sabine is my Volan in that regard. It's well, I was only using it defensively anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, it is nasty now.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Well, on that note of crit discussion, we'll wrap it up for this week. We'll be back next week with I think we'll do the Sam Chris game.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. And
Yeah.
it'll be so far on, I've forgotten everything that happened, so we can discover it together.
Cool. Well, on that note, we'll just say goodbye.
Ta-ta for now.